to the sales, which is completely two different worlds to begin with. But it's been good. Anyway, as you can see on the screen right now, the topic that I'm supposed to discuss is about resale or property flipping. Now, just to start, I'd like to ask everyone if you can at least use your chat box. Just a quick question. When somebody comes to you talking about real estate as an investment, what comes to mind first? I mean, what or how can you associate real estate as an investment? Just a quick one. I hope you can answer. This would help me on this chat, or I mean, on this presentation right now. And I'll wait for at least one to answer before I begin. So if you don't want us to end up doing this way before after lunch, please answer in the chat box. Please. Okay. Still waiting for someone to answer.
Chris, can you repeat the question, please? Para mas makakuha nila.
Okay, sir. Sorry. What was that you mentioned? I'm having problem with my earphone.
Yeah. Can you repeat the question? Para...
It's a general question. When somebody talks to you and then they tell you real estate and investment, what comes to mind? How do you associate real estate as an investment? Just one or two words would be enough. It's funny how somebody named DMCI Homes answers mahal at walang pambayad monthly. I'll talk to you later. No, I'm reading. It says passive income, Bernard. Thank you. Capital growth. Again, Bernard. High capital investment, additional profit, property, rental. Very good. Secure return of investment, low risk investment. This is interesting. All right. Coming slides, but let's begin. Jeff? Let's just quickly define things. What is resale or property flipping? When you say property flipping, it simply means that you're buying a specific property. It doesn't mean if it's a condo or a landed property or a farm or a lot. As long as you buy it at a specific price, and then you wait for maybe 1 month, 1 year, 10 years, and then of course the property should appraise at least in value. And then if and when you do decide to pay, to sell the property at that time, that would mean that you're basically flipping the property or reselling the property. And of course, when you resell a property, ideally, you will sell it at a higher value than what you got it for. So that's just simply put resale or property flipping. Now, next slide. With regards to property flipping or resale, or it doesn't matter if you're reselling the property or you're buying a property as an end user, so you can use it eventually, or you're buying a property for rental, there are specific key points that you should actually consider in terms of buying this particular property. And first of all, and very, very, very important, is the location of the property. Of course, a property should be very strategic. It should be quote unquote near CBD. And of course, it should have very good accessibility to public transport. Now, I highlighted or I specifically indicated this three simply because these three main factors alone will significantly drive the increase in value of the property that you are looking to get. When I say strategic location and near CBD, it simply means that the property is ideally located within 5, 10, 15 minutes drive or commute away from the major CBDs in the Philippines, specifically Makati, BGC, and Ortigas. By CBD, for everyone, it means Central Business District. These are where the offices at, and mainly the Central for Commerce and corporate world here in the Philippines. So of course, it has to be near CBD, and I'll tell you more about why I always say near CBD later. Let me just touch accessible to public transportation. It's common knowledge that the Philippines it's still not very good in terms of commute. When I say very good, when we look at other countries that has what was mentioned earlier in the video, the transport-oriented development, it simply means that the properties are located within walking distance to a very good commute, such as the MRT or the LRT. If you would look at very good countries such as Singapore, Tokyo, Korea, their public transport, meaning their subway or their train system, is very good to such a way that you don't really need to use a car anymore. In the Philippines, ideally you still use a car, mainly for comfort, and of course to get to point A to B faster, normally faster. It depends on where you're going at. Now, touching back on where it says near CBD, just to give you an idea, yesterday, my other investors based in Singapore asked me to actually do the acceptance for their unit. It's 2 units that they actually purchased in BGC itself. It's made by one of the more famous developers who has been dominating BGC specifically. And I did check the unit. It's a 41 square meter, 1-bedroom unit. It's very good. It's actually okay. I mean, in terms of turnover, it's comparable to what you would get on most very good developers that you have in the Philippines. It's properly finished, not furnished. It's properly finished, and it's actually very good to move in already. You just need to bring your furniture and appliances. Now, as I was looking at the unit, I went to the balcony, and then I look at the view. One of the specific selling point, which is very good, that particular property was, it's at the foot of what we call Kalayaan Bridge. For everyone's knowledge, Kalayaan Bridge is basically the bridge that was recently completed, which is linking BGC or Taguig, BGC in specific, Ortigas, and Makati. So that bridge is basically linking the 3 main CBDs in the Philippines, which means that if you're going to be coming from BGC, you just need to use that bridge, and it should give you easy access going to Ortigas or Makati, depending on where you need to go. Now, as I look further on the balcony of that property, I immediately see 3 properties which are very, very familiar to me. Familiar because they are all DMCI homes. 2 of which are already completed, the other is still pre-selling. And then I begin to think, I am in a property 41 square meters, looking at the balcony of that particular property and seeing the accessibility that I have. And then I look at the property across, which also is at the foot of that particular Kalayaan Bridge. And then I recall what was the current value of the property on that particular location. And then immediately it came to mind that the 41 square meter 13 million unit that I was sitting at, looking at the balcony at that time, and then I see that a property across that bridge, it's a 13 million property, but it's an 87 square meter unit. So that alone should tell you why you should actually highly consider buying a property near the CBD and not in the CBD. Another key point to that is, aside from obviously getting better value for money, Jeff, I'll go to that in a few seconds. Aside from that is aside from the factor of the size of the property, which basically means that you're getting better value for your money in terms of price per square meter, it's double your money basically. Again, this would basically go to the next point that Jeff is about to show, which is the target market. If you would go back to that particular unit, that 13 million one-bedroom unit, 41 square meter in BGC, let's face it. How many people working in BGC can actually afford to buy that expensive property? And then taking into consideration the size of the property, it's probably good for what? A single people, a single individual, or maybe a starting family with no kids yet. Because if you have at least one kid, a one-bedroom unit is going to be too small for you. Now, if you would just go across that bridge, specifically Mandaluyong and Pasig, you are now getting an 87 square meter three-bedroom unit for the same exact price for a fraction of a 5 to 10 minute difference in terms of drive, and you can end up buying one more car and a parking, all for the same price that you're getting for just a one-bedroom unit in BGC. So imagine the value for your money. Or if you're an investor, you actually get to buy 2 units, use one, resell it eventually, and then use the profit and then pay off the second unit, so you don't have to do mortgage anymore for that, and then it would pay up your entire property, and you end up being passive already as you progress in your investment. Now, going back to target market, as I mentioned earlier, it's probably a good 10% of the working population in BGC can actually afford such an expensive property in BGC. Now, if we're talking about rental, of course, if you have such an expensive property, then you wouldn't take anything less than a very good monthly rent for that particular property. If it's a one bedroom and then you're going to have it rented out for 50,000, then what kind of an employee are you actually targeting that would consider renting your unit for 50,000 if he's going to be able to live in it on his own? So you're significantly lowering the market, the target market that you're considering if you are going to rent out your property or if you are going to sell the property midway. Going back to the locations which are within 5 to 10 minutes drive, going to the CBD, Pasig, Mandaluyong, and then other parts of the gig, you are now getting better value for money. And at the same time, you're now tapping in 50 to 60% of the working people within the CBD. I wouldn't touch on rental now because we all know that rental within the CBDs are practically at its low at this very moment, simply because offices are not really working in their offices right now. So there's no need to be in the CBD and to actually rent a property in the CBD. So that's another market, another thing that you need to consider. And of course, the last point that I would like to stress out is the developer. It is obviously common knowledge that the reputation of the developer would play a significant role in how the value of the property would appraise over time. Of course, there's the location, which is very critical, and then there's the reputation of the developer. Is this a developer that is known to deliver a property in time, on time, as expected, or on a good year, even ahead of time? Does this developer always finish the property and always give what it plans you to give from the very start when the project is just pre-selling? Are you getting better value for money? Are you getting the location? Are you getting the good location? Are you getting the amenities? Is it an amenity that you would actually share with a million other people in the condominium? These are the key factors that would significantly drive the value of the property and the reputation of the property as well, that goes beyond just during the pre-selling period and beyond. Meaning, when you look at existing properties of a particular developer, how does it look now? Is it still maintained properly? Does it still look good after 10 years? Is the PMO or the property management office able to manage the property beyond the turnover? Are the people living in it really enjoying the property that they have? And again, how is the demand for that particular property even beyond the turnover? You probably see a lot of rent-to-own properties right now going on, a lot of pasalo or those that are selling below market value, and a lot of developers who has a huge inventory with their properties that are already finished. You begin to question, you ask yourself, if this property is really good as they say it is, it's located on a good location as they say it is, it has good amenities, then how come this particular developer still has a ton of inventory even it's completely finished? I mean, not to brag about DMCI Homes, but it is common that when you look at DMCI Homes and it's a completed property, you actually have more buyers wanting to buy a unit than inventory that you can actually sell. This is, it may be too much of a brag, but this is a problem we agents have simply because people, Filipinos, commonly would want to buy a property when it's already completed. But the thing is, when that property is completed, inventory is gone. There's no more available units to sell in this particular properties. And this is where we investors who buy a property as early as possible come in. If there's no more inventory to sell, then this is the perfect time to open up resale or to sell the inventory of the properties that you got, because simply put, there is no more property that this potential buyers can get. Now, the next slide, we'll modify this one. The next slide that you would actually see, I'm actually going to be discussing now specific properties that I have personally invested in and resell over the years. Now, just to give you an idea first, this particular property that we're looking at is Prisma Residences. It's located in Pasig Boulevard, very near the CBD again. It has very easy access to Pasig, Ortigas, and BGC and Makati, and it also very near that Kalayaan Bridge. So it's a very good property. When we launched this property, the first building way back in Feb of 2017, a 2-bedroom unit back then should cost you around 4.4 million. Now, just a month, or no, 2 months after we launched a property, that 4.4 became 4.5 or almost 4.6. And then again, a few months after, sometime in December of 2017, the same year it was launched, that 4.4 became 4.9. So that's almost a little over $500,000 already, an increase in just less than a year. Now, moving forward, in January of 2018, just a month after the last price increase, that 4.9 became 5.02. And then again, moving forward, in May of 2019, this is not updated. This had a price increase already again in 2020. That 4.4 million in Feb of 2017. In May of 2019, it already valued at 6.6 million, which is roughly what? 2.2 million in increase already, or a little over 50% increase in value of this particular unit. And this is 2019. So moving forward, the next slide will show you one of my investments, one of the early properties that I got sometime in 2015, if I'm not mistaken. This is a 3-bedroom unit in Acacia Estates. This is in Taguig. It's a 3-bedroom unit with parking, and the 3-bedroom back then was only 4.2 million. And then the drying cage included in this particular property is 279,000. And then the parking is 577,000. Now, if we sum it up, basically the total value of the property with parking for a 3-bedroom unit in Taguig back then was 5.085 million. And then this was on a 20% down payment scheme. So I got, I was paying 19,007 pesos and 10 cents monthly back then, since this is just pre-selling. And then sometime in 2017, I decided to sell the property. So if we would sell the property, there would be a few documentations that we would prepare. And one of them is the memorandum of agreement. And then highlighted here is how much I was actually selling the property. So from 5 million, I was selling the property for 6.3 million. Now, if we would compute that, my 19,000 monthly over the span of 27 months that I was already able to pay, I paid roughly a total of 543,191.70. With the 6.3 million selling price, basically it means that my investment plus my profit, the total return that I got in cash was actually 1.2 million something something. So if we would get the percentage versus what I invested in, it's roughly around 224% in increase in profit that I got in just 2 years or a little over 2 years. So think of an investment, a legal investment that is, that you can actually invest in right now for 19,000 monthly, do it for 2 years, and it will give you over 700,000 in profit. So I'll leave that to you and be creative on where you can, but I can answer one specific, well, I can give you one specific answer right now. It's only real estate that can give you such profit in such a short time. All right. The next slide is actually not a slide. It will be one of my good friend. He is a fellow investor. He was one of the very first people that I actually co-owned a unit, which is another investment strategy that you can employ. He's basically going to talk about why he invested in DMCI Homes, despite all the investments that he already has and everything else. I'd like to introduce you to a very good friend of mine, Bernard. Bernard, thank you for joining us today. I know it's what 1:30 p.m. right now in Australia.
Yeah, it sure is. Can you
Good.
guys hear me well?
Ken, and you look good, brother.
Thank you so much. I dressed up for this occasion just for you. So yeah, I'll speak in English. I believe there's people from overseas as well. So just in case no one understands Tagalog. But good morning to you all, property investors, property owners. I'm excited to be here. Chris has asked me to do this testimony. So just to share sort of my knowledge and share some skills, some tips. And hopefully that would motivate and inspire you. But first of all, I guess I just have to make it clear, and I want to guarantee you that DMCI is not paying me to speak on behalf of DMCI here. Like Chris said, he's a friend of mine, and he just asked me to do a testimony. So yeah, even Chris is not paying me lunch for this. So yeah, I'm doing this all pretty much for free. Yeah, I thought I'd get that out of the way. And another thing is, I'm not a financial planner. I'm not a financial advisor, but I do have a master's in business management. So I do understand basic accounting, finance, taxation, investing, and so forth. So I use the word basic because in my all honest opinion, property investing is, you just need basic knowledge, like basic knowledge of mathematics, right? I tried, just a quick story, I tried Forex investing before, and that is just, it's nothing compared to property investing, right? So yeah, so I'll get more into details in regards to that later. So I've been doing property investing for 15 years now. I guess my first few years, I learned my mistakes, and from then on, I found the sweet spot, so to speak, and then I just continue with that strategy, right? Hang on one second, sorry, I'm just reading some notes here. So I don't have, unfortunately, I don't have a Ferrari that I can show you, and I can, and say that I have a property in like Ayala, Alabang, or Forbes Park, but to be honest, if you study all the rich people, majority of them lives a simple life, and that's what we're trying to do. So, not that I'm saying I'm very rich, but I'm just saying that we live a simple life, and hence, you can build your wealth, right? And just to give you a bit of my background, believe it or not, my family came from a poor family, not very poor, but kind of like poor-ish. So I guess why I'm saying that to you is, if I can do it, I'm sure you guys who probably in a better position should be able to, build your property empire if that is your goal. So why am I telling you this? Just to probably give some initial motivation. I want to encourage you all, if you're just beginning, to believe in yourself, that I'm here to tell you that you guys can do this. I remember when I started in property investing, most of my friends would discourage me, would say, why are you doing this? You should be partying or buying cars and so forth, right? Even family members, they just didn't see the benefit out of it. But if you have a dream, if this is something that you love to do, just continue with it. And most people that you will encounter will most likely discourage you, because they don't understand, and they don't understand what what your desire is, right? So first of all, I'd like to motivate you that anything's impossible and you guys can do this. So whatever your goal is, there's just no excuse, and you guys can do it. So just to give you an example, my very first property, so I was just finished out of college, and I know I couldn't afford to buy a property, right? So what I did, the bank will not lend me. So what I did was I got some of my friends to rent the other rooms, so they helped me pay for the mortgage, right? So that's just an example that if you look for a way, there's just absolutely no excuse. You will find the solution, right? So that was one strategy, and that kicked my property investment going. So I rented the other rooms, and they helped me pay for the mortgage. And yeah, so what else? So why property? Like I said, property has always been my passion. I tried other businesses. I've tried online selling, buy and sell, multi-level marketing. Should I mention the names? Probably not. Okay. I can see Chris shaking his head. So yeah, I've tried photography business, travel agency, food cart business, selling commercial air conditioning unit, trucking and logistics. In fact, I tried, Chris. I had problems with my truck. And I said, Chris, do you know someone that might be able to buy this? So, anyway, manage funds, Forex trading. So can you make money from all of this? Absolutely, yes. But for me, I found property easier. It's just I don't know. It just works for me. So yes, definitely those items you can make money, but with property, I find it so much easier, right? Another tip that I'd like to share is, my business or investment strategy. Like I said earlier, I mentioned that I have master's in business management. And one thing I learned is when you look for a business, you look for something that people need, right? So a necessity, right? And everybody needs a shelter to live in, and hence property is a necessity, right? Another strategy that I look for is repeat customers. So meaning to say, like I mentioned earlier, I tried to do photography business. So one customer that I would do is do wedding photography. So obviously, once I've done the shoot, gave them the photos, will they likely to come back to me and say, I'm going to get married again, right? Obviously, no. So that is why with property, you can re-rent it year in, year out, and just continue with the income that you can get, right? And like I said, property investing is easy to understand. You just need to understand like yield calculation, payback period. If you really want to get into that details, and bottom line is it making money, right? Is it increasing in value? And another reason why I like property is leveraging. So if you guys, hopefully I'm explaining this correctly. So Chris mentioned the bank will lend you money for the property, right? So how many business do you know? Let's say I have a business. You go to the bank, I have a business proposal. Can you lend me 90% of it? Absolutely, the bank will just laugh at you, right? With property, you say, I have a property. and I wanna buy this, and the bank will say, yeah, just give us 20%, sometimes even 10% deposit. You can even use your other property as a security. So it just shows that property is a secure investment. Even the bank knows it's a secure investment, which is Chris what mentioned earlier. And obviously, property is the only thing I know that has capital growth and income at the same time. So let me give an example. One of my friends before, we were thinking of doing buying a car for using for Grab. So obviously, after 5 years, you paid off your car and you're making money being a Grab driver. But 5 years down the track, the value of your car has gone down probably 50%, right? With property, as what Chris mentioned earlier, it's gone up way more than that. So you can have both capital growth and at the same time income. So hence I like that. And obviously one thing I like is passive income. I could do, I'm just an employee, and I can just work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and the property can run its own track. I mean, yeah, there's sometimes you need to do meet with brokers, but it's very rare that you need to really focus on it, right? So those are the reason why I just, property makes sense to me. Just to share my property strategies, I've tried buy and renovate. I've tried build and sell, like as a developer, just small time, nothing like DMCI. And buy and keep. So Chris has mentioned earlier that him and I have done some partnership. We purchased property together, and when it increased in capital, we resold it. So yeah. The reason I like DMCI is it's sort of like within middle class. Excuse me. So meaning to say, everyone, if you target middle class, people can generally afford it, right? Both the rent, like if your strategy is to buy and keep it and then rent it out, people can easily afford renting it, right? If you buy a property in, say, Ayala, Alabang, the rent would be easy 150,000 per month or 200,000 per month. Like, how many people do you know that can afford 200,000 monthly of rent, right? With DMCI property, way less than that, right? So the more you target the masses, then it's easier to manage, right? And the easier for you to find to find renters. Last thing is build your team. So that's another advice. So I've been doing this for 15 years. You'll meet a lot of sketchy characters. So build your team, like credible people, accountants. If you have a lawyer, then, but mainly accountant and a broker. So Chris and I have been doing this for more than, I think, 5 years now. So yeah, Chris, I speak on his behalf that every time I said, Chris, can you sell me something that's way cheaper? I said, no, I'm protecting my client as well. So he's a win-win situation for everyone. So he, as a buyer or even as a seller, he ensures that everybody wins. So I like that about him. And then I've dealt with other brokers or agent that, and I've shared this with Chris. I can't mention the developer's name here. So, but they will do sketchy things. So yeah, I'm here in front of you to tell you that I speak for this guy. So I guess that concludes my little testimony, my little pep talk. And I guess if I can just share one more thing, if you're up there now, or you better share your blessings to people as well. So yeah. All right, thanks guys.
Thank you so much, Bernard, for that. Is my audio working okay? Sorry.
Yep.
Can hear. All right. Thanks, Bernard. All right. Thank you for that very wonderful thoughts that you shared with us about investment in general and how you actually sold me as an agent. But of course, just to let everyone know, I am one of the great agents within this team, and anybody who has invited you now on this webinar equally share the same experience and the same capability that I can give to Bernard and to the rest of my clients. And it speaks to show we are, as Jason mentioned earlier, we are one of the top teams within the DMCI community. So we're talking about thousands of agents within DMCI, and we've managed to become to become part of the top of this pool of agents. So it only speaks to show how much we care about the clients, and how true we are with what we sell. And we're not just sellers of DMCI. We are all unit owners, multiple unit owners of DMCI homes as well. This is how much we believe in what we sell. All right, with that, as Bernard mentioned, we've gone into a partnership with one of the properties that we purchased sometime in 2017. So this is the property that we got. Remember earlier on the first few slides, I mentioned Prisma Residences. This is the second building of Prisma Residences. It was launched in December of 2017. Earlier, if you would remember, I sold my 3-bedroom sometime in September or October of 2017. So just a few months after that, I immediately considered buying another property, which is this particular one that is highlighted. It's a 1-bedroom unit valued at 3.1 million back then in December 2017. It's co-owned by me, Bernard, and another good friend of ours. And then in May of 2019, that 3.1 million became 4.8 million. You just do the math of how much increase it had in just a short period of time. And then in August of 2019, we actually decided to sell the property that we purchased. So that was December 2017 until August of 2019, roughly a little over, 2 years? So let's do the computation for that particular property. All right. As you can see here first, this is a contract to sell. This is, this is a statement of account. It's something common to every DMCI owner. So if you own a property in this DMCI homes, you actually get this monthly. It simply shows how much you paid, the amount of the property that you purchased, and what is the monthly and the total that you paid with DMCI. So in August of 2019, the monthly for the 1-bedroom was 9,200. So we basically paid roughly around 204,000. With the 4.8 million value of the property and the total invested of only 204,000, we actually got, or we sold the property only for 3.7 million. So from 4.8, we lowered the selling price of the property for 3.7 million. You're probably asking why? Simply because we only put up 200,000, and then we managed to easily top up 502,000 from that investment, which gives us a very good return of 246%, again, in a very short period of time, only 2 years. So this is again similar to my 3-bedroom strategy, that you invest low as early as possible, get the lowest monthly payment possible. Back then, the lowest that you can get is 20%. Right now, the next presenter will tell you about 15%, which is even lower, which is very, very good for people who's thinking about investing at this very moment. Simply because your monthly payment will be significantly lower, and at the same time, your price increase will be the same as everybody else. So in 2 years from now, you probably invested only for the value of the property right now, you're looking at investing less than 500,000, and then you could easily get the same amount that we were able to get with the yield or the increase in the property in that span of time. Again, another point is the properties that we are looking at right now. Two of the very good properties that we have, one of which will be discussed later, haven't had a price increase, not because the value of the property has not increased yet, but because we ended up doing COVID. So it is ideal that on a marketing strategy, a developer gradually does the price increase simply because you're trying to drive sales upward. And doing a price increase on a difficult time doesn't necessarily mean that you would end up getting more buyers. So the strategy is you lower the monthly, which is why the 15% has has been born. The 15% down payment, and then another very 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 good point on why it is very good to invest right now is we have what we call stretched payment term. Simply means that the turnover of the property remains the same. By March of 2025 or as early as 2024, majority of the very good properties will be completed. It will not change. With the stretched payment term, your property, the one that you can get right now, you can actually add 12 or 16 months on top of the existing down payment period, which means that the property will be completed and you are still paying the down payment of your property. Now, what advantage this gives you? As I mentioned earlier, typical Filipino, the interest for a property significantly increases when they see a property completed. It's a little difficult to sell a property when it's completed and it's on a bank financing already. But it's still on a pre-selling. You're only involving the developer in terms of transferring the property, which means that when you sell the property, you can actually go to the actual property, show them the actual amenities, possibly look at the unit from the outside only, and then give it more leverage in terms of selling. So which means that it would be easily sellable again, which gives you an advantage if you choose to consider and invest at this particular time. I'll turn you over to the next presenter. I wouldn't discuss the next slide already. In Jason will introduce her better. She's about to discuss one of the best properties that we have right now, and why I say the best. And I personally love this property because I'm over 100 million in sales already with this particular property alone just this year. So this is how I love this property and how much sellable this particular property is. All right, I'll turn you over to Jason. He will introduce better the next presenter. Thank you very much for listening.
Have you ever felt a need for a space that grows with you? How we go through life allows us to dream of what's next. In the newest development of DMCI Homes, you can create milestones to commemorate how far you've come and have the life you've always wanted. Located in Taguig City, the sense of privacy its location affords is away from the hustle and bustle, but never too far from all the action. Alder Residences is the latest flagship development of DMCI Homes. In its premier township community, the Acacia Estates, this four-building property highlights its modern artisanal architectural design. It offers a certain breathing space where time seems to slow down and gives you a place to try something and embrace everything. Alder Residences is defined by natural textures and sculptural elements, true to DMCI Homes resort-style living. Coming home to a safe and beautiful home is the core of everything Alder Residences stands for. Comfort and relaxation is closer than you think. Slow down and unwind at the pool area for a fun and exciting experience with your loved ones. Wide open spaces allow you to relax and clear your mind when you stroll in the lawns, which provide residents with natural and functional outdoor areas, with connecting play areas and paths in the amenity core. Surrounded by greeneries that go perfectly with the light earth tone palette of the buildings, Alder Residences features DMCI Homes' innovation of Lumivent technology. There's a space for everyone at Alder Residences, where you can live the lifestyle you want. Get into shape in the fitness gym, Stay focused in the co-working space for both students and professionals. And enjoy the clear view from the Sky Promenade, featured in each of the 4 buildings. Come home to more space and customize the life you want in Alder Residence's 3-bedroom units. With an open plan layout for all the units' common areas. Living, dining, and kitchen areas give you bigger windows, an abundance of natural light. Alder Residences offers more than just spacious units. It allows you to have the perfect setting for your home and gives you the space to grow and make new memories. Cross ventilation is also considered in designing your own space to help regulate flow of fresh air into your unit. Natural light and ventilation make Alder Residences an ideal place for healthy living. Alder Residences will allow you to enjoy premium living in spacious areas with irresistible comfort and relaxation where time moves at a pace you choose. The Acacia Estates Town Center is located just within reach of Alder Residences, making it easy for you to shop for your daily needs. And it gets even better, as the property is just a short drive from the city's major commercial establishments and business centers, such as Bonifacio Global City, Uptown Mall, Venice Grand Canal Mall, Market, St. Luke's Medical Center, and Medical Center Taguig. Savor the choice of resort-inspired and contemporary spaces with a careful eye on craftsmanship. Versatile, comfortable, and stylish living spaces matched with a thoughtful selection of natural and functional areas bring Alder Residences to life. Cut above the rest, Alder Residences truly transforms moments into memorable experiences. Your space for a time well spent and a life well lived. Alder Residences.